and be on the website, but you're not, you're the first to know.
Excellent. I had a couple questions recently about that, so that's good. Okay, if there's no other announcements, we'll move on to business. Item number 1 is approval of the estimate of revenue for the fiscal year of May 1, 2012 through April 30th, 2013. Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett. And Washington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is approval of the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year of May 1st, 2012 through April 30th, 2013. Motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Ordinance 12-3-159.
Okay, final item up with monies is approval of the budget for May 1st, 2012 through April 30th, 2013. Motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 4 is just listed as discussion and purchase approval of an LED village sign. I'm not going to ask for approval of the purchase tonight of the sign that we're looking at. We will request that at the next board meeting because I did not get all the information that I anticipated, number 1. And I would like the other 2 trustees to be involved, although I did get some of their comments. I would still like their additional feedback. But I did want to get it out there, remind the public we talked about doing this. It's in this year's budget, which is coming to a close. We purchased the building next door, and we put in a budget for improving the, connecting the parking lots, some minor landscaping work, and signage. And so the thought process was that we would take the current sign in front of the village hall and move it to the center approximately of the grass lot in front of the new Public Works building. And then the placard that hangs underneath would then read Public Works. And then a new sign would be purchased to go in front of this building. And if anybody out there would like to take a look, there is a picture of a type of sign that we're considering. It still matches our current signage in the village and more of the historic look, and it incorporates our logo, but then it also has an LED readout so that we can put messages on there to better communicate with our residents and businesses. And there's choices as far as full color for LED, single color for LED. There's a lot of choices. Out of the companies we contacted, we called around, we talked to Avon Township because if you notice, they got a new sign this past year and a half. Volo has a nice new sign. So we contacted them to get different pricing and company names. Stewart Sign, who this rendering is from, is a very popular firm that's been around a long time. They have been the most responsive thus far and willing to do the most, particularly without us giving them a deposit for artwork. So that's why I'm able to share that today. And I at least want to figure out or get an opinion, are we on the right track as far as the look that we want? I was very shocked at the price. There's a lot of these monument type signs, and they were coming in around $30,000. So a little shocking. And Stewart Sign, actually, if you go to their website, this isn't even on their website yet. They just started carrying this sign several months ago. And it's for municipalities or libraries or churches of smaller budgets. And this sign is priced, everybody has a copy of the quote. If we did full color, it's just over $14,000. Now, we can knock $2,000 off that price, which I think may be worth doing by going single color, because I don't know that we really need full color. What we're mainly going to be putting on there is text. It's still a fairly high speed limit on Hainesville Road. You want them to be able to just simply read when the meeting is, what day it is. Temperature, time, and the date comes standard on almost all the LED signs, no matter who you get them from. We're not going to be putting photographs. I don't see any real demand for even a lot of clip art. And this rendering, it looks really pretty because they took our logo and did the grass and it says welcome. But when you're going down the road, I don't think you're going to have time to read welcome, the date, the temperature, and the time, and then read when our meetings are. So I'm kind of leaning towards the single color. And then the question is, what color do you go with? And there's different opinions on that. For most single colors, it's either red or the yellow. Stuart recommends red for single color. I would encourage everyone to drive around, if you haven't already, and look at signs, pay attention to the township. I mean, we have 2 LED signs right in town. Walgreens has the red readout on their sign. Russo has a full color sign, but of course it's much larger, and they do put pictures on. You see pictures of their equipment, so it makes a lot more sense for what they're doing.
If we ever wanted to move to color, could we switch out? Not that I would think that we would need it, but just in case something comes up and we think we want that option.
We'd be able to switch. What we have to ask is what that would involve and how much money it would be.
That's primarily, that would more than likely be the major portion of the cost of the signs that LED displays are again.
Do they have to replace the whole unit,
Yeah,
Kevin?
you just can't add color. You gotta
Replace the
replace the whole
boards.
entire LED unit.
Okay.
So you have different colored, LEDs in there that represent different colors. That's just like, when we bought the LEDs, light bars for squad cars, you can only get one side, one color, and if you mix, then you have to take the whole thing apart. You have to buy all the LEDs again.
Gotcha. Yeah, and any questions tonight or any questions that come up in the next few days, call me, email me. I will go back to Stewart Signs and the other companies we're waiting to hear from with additional questions. Now again, how you communicate with the sign is relatively the same depending on, it doesn't matter who you buy the sign from. We're not going to hardwire it, there's no reason to do that. We would either do modem or wireless because the sign is close enough probably to do the wireless, and so that adds a cost of about $1,500. We feel confident that we can install the sign. I had a meeting with Gary and Jeff about this. One of the things we do like about Stewart Signs, and you can again go to their website and they even have a little video on it. They, when you purchase a sign from them, when they start making your sign, they immediately ship out an installation kit so that you can start digging. You dig down below the frost line, you put rebar in the ground, you pour concrete in, and it comes with a template to put on top so that when the sign is delivered, you're loading it off the truck, putting it in place, and bolting it down. So obviously, if we install it ourselves versus having one of these companies install, that saves money as well. If, God forbid, something happened with the communication system, if the wireless was out or the modem wasn't working, you can go out to these signs. There's a place you can unlock and open up, and you can put in your flash drive and upload your message that way. So you're never stuck, so to speak. You can still change your message. Is there any questions? Comments? Questions?
Yeah, Mayor. One question. Do we really need this sign? I mean, we're spending $14,000. We're going to be in a short budget next year. We're going to be basically taking events from our reserves. Okay, even though we do have it appropriated for this year, do we really need it when we have the website? We have the newsletters that we put out all the time. We still have the same people that show up at the meetings. If somebody driving by at 40 miles an hour, they're going to really look at it and say, oh, I got to go to that meeting. I mean, that's the way I feel.
you're entitled to your opinion, that's what we want to hear. We've had different comments from residents. It's a good point. How many will listen? We know a lot of people don't read the newsletter. When people come in to pay their water bill, they hand the newsletter back with the water bill page. They haven't read the newsletter. So the intent of getting the LED sign was trying to flash. We live in kind of a flash, split-second world of communication, especially with the younger people. So it's keeping up with the times. Will we still get to everybody? No, we won't. When I was out campaigning 3 years ago, I had several people comment, why wasn't an LED sign put in at the time the village hall was built? I know it was discussed, it was decided against, okay? So, regardless, we're gonna have to buy a sign for over the Public Works building. There's no signage there now. Do we have to spend as much money? No, but that's how it came about. Now, we put a $40,000 budget in place in this year's budget, which is for connecting the parking lots, landscaping, and the sign. So far, we expect to come pretty well under, not spend that $40,000. That's our goal. If Jeff was here to comment, he could add to that as far as the work we're going to do with the driveway. So we don't expect to be spending the full amount that we budgeted. So I'll open it up to the other trustees for any additional comments.
What is in the driveway already put in?
No, the stone.
Well, the stone is, but it hasn't been asphalted.
Oh,
And then it'll remind Gary about that early public works meeting.
Any other thoughts? Or do you think we should go another route with signage?
This is the only company that's really responded. We looked at, like, you know, I know there's a big sign company up in Green Bay called Jones Sign that does these displays like this all the time. I don't know if you ever looked at them. I mean, I'm kind of in Wally's side of the boat this time only because we're, you know, it's tight on cash, and wouldn't that money be better off used to, my personal thought would be, instead of spending $14,000 on a sign, I would rather spend $10,000 and equip a public works building with a generator so that if we do lose power, Jeff can get his doors open and we can put a generator in this building versus a sign out there that looks pretty. I mean, I would rather go with another sign like we have out there for the public works building and take that money and use it to upgrade this building, because that's been something we've been talking about since we built this place, is to put a natural gas generator in.
I thought we're moving forward on the generators.
That's only if we get a grant there. And if we don't get a grant,
If we don't get a grant, I thought the plan is we're going to buy one.
No,
Not buy.
no grant, no generators.
no, and I thought that was a mistake.
that would be my
I
thought,
that
we'd
was
take
a
that money and
mistake.
put it towards a generator. That way, we've got shelter for the public, we've got shelter for us as a command center if something does happen in our building.
That would be a capital improvement starting our fund.
Kelly, did you understand that there would be absolutely no generator no matter what?
We talked about it in finance about it, and I asked Trustee Daly to re-verify that with Jeff, because Jeff was more or less saying, yeah, if we don't get the grant, no, we won't do it. That would, you know.
For this next year?
Yes, starting May.
All right, that's interesting.
Which I didn't agree to.
Okay. All right, well then, I think that's a very valid point. I think then, let's go back and review that. We can certainly look at other types of signage for the Public Works building, because we do need to get signage there. That is a must, but we certainly don't.
And because the guy that parked his truck there for the weekend, he didn't even know what it was, he just parked it.
No, I know, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And, you know, I've got a soft spot in my heart for trucks, and I was able to, you know, PD track.
I just want to remind everybody, unofficially, we didn't have a lengthy discussion, and I understand, even though it was kind of gloomy, it probably maybe seemed cheerier. We were hoping for rosier days. In concept, this is what we talked about, you know,
I agree.
last year. So that's why we're looking at this and presenting this. Okay. So we will go back and look at the generators, and we do have some other companies that are supposed to be sending this information, and I'd be happy to look into this Jones out of Green Bay. and see
Yeah,
what
they're
doing.
a very reputable sign dealer, they do everything from